Hey, so welcome to this week's weekly watch list. We're going to break down the dollar index to start off with, as we do every single week, because it's going to give us a good understanding of what trades we can take. So currently we're on the dollar index right now. If we go out into the weekly, just to get a better understanding of where we are, you can see we are approaching this area in red. It's a nice strong bit of resistance. We had a bit of consolidation here at the bottom of the market after we broken out of this descending trend line, but formed a little double bottom, and now we're looking to push past that 94 handle and beyond. So maybe we can push through this week coming up. We're just going to need to wait and see what the market gives us when we start tonight at 10 GMT. So just looking at what we have right now, we're really trying to break this area of resistance. But struggling to do so. The week that's just closed has been a little bit of an indecision week. We've went up, we've went down, we've pretty much closed exactly where we started. If we go down to the daily here, you can see the resistance is proving pretty strong. We're hitting a little double top here, so I'm a little bit unsure what's actually going to happen. This day, both these days have closed in below the full range of the preceding day. You could see on the 6th of October. So although we have created a double top, these 2 days have failed to break the range of this day here. So again, a little bit conflicting evidence, because double top would of course at resistance signal we're going to go lower, but this is signaling a weakness in the sellers right now, so we could actually break up higher. So it's something to bear in mind. Now let's move on to the major currencies. You can see here we had our watch list, Aussie USD. Let's just stick on the daily to get a good understanding of where we are. In fact, let's go to the weekly, because we need a little bit bigger perspective here. You can see where this area in red is coming from. A really sensitive area of the market, and it's been respected recently, which is of course exactly what we are looking at now. I'm just monitoring to see what price action is going to do in and around this area, because we are moving lower and lower and lower, and we're using this area as a bounce in the form of support. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen. Right now for me, I am going to keep it on the watch list, but I really need a little bit more development to see, are we going to break out to the upside, or are we going to crash through the support? So I'm keeping Aussie US dollar on the map. Now this is the development that we've been needing for Euro Aussie. Of course, if the dollar's going up, the euro will go down, and vice versa. Of course, we need to take into consideration what the Aussie dollar is going to be doing, but we have broken bullish structure. This is a real strong area of support that, as you know, once it gets broken, will come back to be retested as resistance. So I do think, let's just say, for example, if we were to take this on 4 hour to these highs here, we are going to come back into this area of resistance, I think, and I do think we could hit that 0.618 fib, so maybe something along the lines of this, a pullback, maybe into an area like so. Might even go all the way back here to then have that second push. Now, typically, I mean, if we could just get a rough understanding of this move here, we just copy that over, and we do get that pullback in an area like this, or maybe an area like this, we could actually come back down to that 0.786, but to be safe, I mean, the 0.618, if we do get the right entry signal, would be a safe target for me. So that's what I'm looking at on Euro Aussie. Let's have a look now. Very interesting trade on Euro USD. Again, we're going to have to watch the dollar index to see, is the dollar going to be strong? If the dollar's strong, guess what? That pushes Euro US dollar down. If the dollar's weak, it's going to push the euro up. Of course, we need to still be keeping an eye on the euro to see if that's strong or weak, because that's also going to have a good indication on if this pair is going to go higher or lower. So we are pulling back into that 0.5 Fibonacci retracement. I do think we're going to get a bounce from here. We have that nice area of liquidity in the market. You can see in orange, it's mapped nicely with the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement, and price actions getting squeezed in the form of a bearish pennant. Now, a bearish pennant, of course, as you know, is a reversal. So I'm going to be watching for this area in the market here, around about that 1.15 handle. As you know, the market loves round numbers, big psychological numbers, and of course, they're emotional numbers for people. We don't like to be using odd decimals. We like to have solid round numbers. So that's a solid round number that I'm definitely going to be paying attention to. So EURUSD, so far all these trades that we're looking at, 100% my favourites. So let's go to EURUSDJPY. Again, I might actually take this off the watch list. I mean, you could get a couple of nice intradays. I'm thinking we might go back up to that 130.480 handle, where we printed that latest high. But again, we are consolidating, so if you are a shorter term trader, it could provide you with great opportunities to get in and out the market, moving up and moving down, if you know how to trade trend and counter trend. But for the time being, we are consolidating and there's nothing really too exciting. So we'll keep it on the watch list, but for me right now, there's not really anything actionable. GBP Aussie, now we are really sitting around this support here, struggling to break through, but nonetheless, we're not really moving away from it. And when things tend to stick like that, there's a good probability that we're going to go to the downside. But because we've only got a little bit to go before we hit these lows where we could then maybe find support, I'm actually not even going to be bothering keeping this on the watch list. So GBPUSD, interesting. So let's go to the weekly to get a good understanding of what's going on. Now, we had broken out of this bearish trend, okay? So we've broken out, we've created a new bullish structure, you know, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. Really struggled to break this high here, and now we're coming back down in the area of support. And I do think we are having to pull back to this push phase, and then I think we could find some buyers to step back in the market and maybe take out these highs again around about that 142,600 handle, then moving up potentially to that 159.4, let's just call it 1.6, okay, fairly that 1.6, although it's a little bit shy of that handle. You can see here we've got this, and then of course we do have this that could be an area, because you can see we've had these multiple touches that are significant. So I am thinking that we are going to get that next leg high. Of course, if the dollar is weak, it's going to help us a lot with pushing GBPUSD higher, but this is what I'm looking at currently for GBPUSD. I'm thinking the buyers are going to step back in the market because, of course, we have broken that big bearish trend. We've not really started to show great legs moving to the upside, but nonetheless we are bullish. So that's currently what I'm looking at for GBPUSD. GBPJPY, another interesting one. Let's go to the weekly. You'll be able to see what's happening here. We have had, of course, great bullish moves. This trend line has been really significant. You can see, because we're on the weekly, the data on these touch points are extremely significant, and with, I think, just creating a little bit of a flag before we get that continuation back to these highs that you see in orange, and then pushing up past that 160 handle where you see real nice areas of resistance in red. So I do think we're going to be bullish in GBPJPY. We had broken that small trend line that you see on the 4 hour here just on that Friday. I think we are going to then get a big push up, maybe retrace a little bit, and then find some legs to go to that 156 handle, smack bang in the middle of this orange piece of resistance that you can see here. We go to the monthly, or maybe even the weekly. You'll be able to see it's from the top of this wick to the top of this wick, so it's a nice area of liquidity where the market has respected. Of course, it's extremely big. We'd like things to be a little bit more accurate, but nonetheless, what we're seeing right now, I think, is just a flag to this initial push up. So a little bit of a retracement, really struggling to break that 149,500 area resistance at 149 handle, and now we are looking like we're going to take that next bullish move up. So for me, GBPJPY is looking very bullish, and that's what I'd be looking to trade if I do manage to get an entry. So let's just go to NZDUSD, keeping that on the watch list. Again, another flag. You can see that push. If we take, let's just say for example, we take a Fibonacci retracement from the bottom here to the top, you'll see that we could potentially be coming back down at that 0.382 handle. We are creating a double bottom though inside of a descending pennant, which is of course good strong bullish signs that we're going to progress higher. So again, another really nice trade. EURUSD and NZD/USD are really nice trades, you know, nice little double bottom. So I'm going to be monitoring price action in this area of green here, see if we could come back down, find some buyers and then break out of this pattern. Hopefully reaching that 0.74500 handle, maybe even that 0.75000 handle, and push up progressively higher. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at for just a clear signal that we are going to move up, break out of this pattern, and then we could potentially get quite a few trades back up to 0.75000. So moving on to the dollar pairs, the last few form will cover LTCUSD at the end. Okay, so we've been bearish USD CAD, we've had a little bit of pullback, we've had a triple top here, price action is really rounded off, and now we are sitting at this area of support that you could see in the market here, where we've had resistance, we've had support, we've had support, we've had support, and now we're coming back down into that just now. So if we could break this, maybe get a break and retest, I would like to target the bottom of these lows here around about that 1.20500 handle, but that's what I'm looking at for USD CAD. Of course the dollar index would have to be in alignment with that, but I'm going to keep that on the watch list. So USDJPY, this is what we're looking at. I was thinking about a deep retracement to that 0.618 Fibonacci. We didn't get it. We got it to the 0.382, got nice rejections, and then we went back up to the highs around about that 112,200 handle. Really nice trade. Unfortunately, we just didn't get in it. So what are we looking at now? I'd be looking to see how price action reacts to this resistance that you can see here. We are in a nice big area of resistance. Of course, it's quite a big area of resistance in the green, so we want to be going down to the lower time frames to try and see if we could find any other areas of resistance. This was what we were thinking here would be a nice area of resistance, but we have pushed up higher. As you can see here, we're now in that green area. So now we're just going to be really monitoring to see, do we get a rejection here? And do we progressively push lower, or do we continue that bullish momentum up? Of course, this is a steep move up, and of course, as you know, the steeper the trend line, the sooner the break. So we're actually waiting for a break of that, potentially a pullback phase, maybe into an area of support here, around about at 0.236 Fibonacci, maybe even at 0.382, come back down, all the way back down, and then we will look to get those. Maybe something like this, come back all the way down, and then we could potentially look to have a swing back up to target these highs again, around about that 112,300 handle and beyond. So until it gives us a little bit more development, there's not really much I want to be actioning on that right now, but it is going to stay on the watch list, and we're going to be looking at the dollar index to make sure everything's coinciding with what we are saying. So US dollar Swiss. Okay, so we had this little trend line here that you'll be able to see better on the 4 hour and the hourly, but it's just to give you a good understanding of what we're looking at right now. The price action on US dollar Swiss is a little bit choppy. I'm not really liking it too much, to be honest, but if we go down to the lower time frames, maybe there's something that we might be able to see. I do think we're going to break this trend. You can see we're having that triple top, we're getting nice rejections to the upside in a bearish manner, and I do think we're going to come back down into this outer trend line if we can. Because we're in the daily, we might offer us a nice little trade, something like that back down, but remember it is counter trend for the time being, and as you know, counter trend is a little bit more risky than going with the grain. So let's just go to the 4 hour. See what we see. So I mean, to give you an understanding of, let's just take a price range tool and try and find just roughly how much it's going to be if we were to get that push and pull. So now you're looking at 100 pips. So if you're an intraday trader, you could go down to the 15-minute, and no doubt you're going to be able to get a couple of good trades. But we're a little bit away from the trend line, and we could just crash below this. But we're going to need to really see how it reacts when we do get to that trend line. If we do get that nice rejection with an area of resistance, then we could be looking to hit targets down around that 0.91500 handle. But of course we would need a considerable break, we would need that great retest, and we would need that entry signal before we even consider getting in that trade. But we're going to keep it on the watch list. And of course it's going to have to coincide with the dollar index. But nothing really too fancy on that trade. It is against the grain, but if we do get the right entry signals, then of course we will be entering a short-term sell if the risk to reward of course is good and it matches all of our rules. We will be posting on all the pairs that you see here. We will be posting in on Facebook and on Instagram and in all the Telegram groups and Facebook groups all of the trades that have developed to our liking and the ones that we are looking to enter because of that. So last but not least, LTCUSD. A little bit of a funny one. We're consolidating quite a lot right now. If we go to the weekly, you'll be able to see we are developing bullish structure. You can see we've broken out this little bearish trend, right? We've broken that out. We showed three nice rejections, three nice bottoms. We pushed out of that. Okay, we made some really nice highs. Now we've had a retracement, a really deep retracement, so we've created a higher high, higher low in the weekly, and I do think we are going to look to target that 225 handle, potentially 275, and then start to make our way back up. We could potentially even go all the way back up to 400 and maybe beyond, but we'll have to, of course, avoid speculating too much and just go by what the market's giving us right now. The market right now is giving us a period of consolidation. You can see this area in green is a nice area of support. This was a nice area of resistance, but it's not really an area because it was just a line that we drew on the chart to give us an understanding where we might see problems, because we had, of course, these highs, and these highs. Really struggled to fail. Really failed to and struggled to break through, but we have created a higher high ever so slightly and a higher low. So again, that is bullish structure, and I do think this week is going to be a bullish week for LTCUSD. So if you have been paying attention, or if you have been looking to trade this, and now might be a good time to, but again, it has to match your rules, has to match your processes, and you have to be doing it safe. Don't be over leveraging your account, and know how to calculate the pips. Okay, if you don't know how to calculate the pips and you don't know how to get the correct lot size for cryptocurrency, reach out to us. It's better being safe than sorry. But we're going to keep it short and sweet. We're going to keep all the videos short and sweet, just due to the ever decreasing attention spans of consumers these days. We want to be giving you nothing but action and value, and cut out all the fluff. So we're going to keep them ultra short. Subscribe and like these videos, because then when we post them, you're going to get instant notifications ahead of everybody else. And we're going to be doing a lot of videos over the next year. So we hope you've enjoyed that. Shoot us a message if there's anything that was unclear, or if there's any questions that you have. We're always responsive and we love to get back to you. So we're going to be back on Wednesday with a market recap. So until then, we look forward to seeing you, and we hope everybody has a profitable trading week.